In the next House of the Dragon Season 2 Episode 6, Addam will claim the dragon Seasmoke. Rhaenyra will fly to confront Addam. Rhaenyra will receive many dragonseeds at Dragonstone, where many will try to claim other dragons. Daemon will keep assembling troops in the Riverlands. Aemond and Criston will plan and begin their march on Harrenhal to face Daemon. Alicent will confront Aemond. Rhaena will see Sheepstealer for the first time during her stay in the Vale, the same wild dragon she will claim in later episodes. Aemond visits Aegon and seemingly threatens him. Jason Lannister and Lord Lefford meet at the Golden Tooth with a huge assembled Lannister army. Corlys arrives at Dragonstone to attend to his new duties as Hand of the Queen, and we see huge riots in King's Landing, ignited by Mysaria through Rhaenyra's lady invading. In this video we're bringing you many leaked scenes regarding the next episode of House of the Dragon. Let's start with Rhaenyra and the dragonseeds that will try to claim dragons in episode 6. Here we can see Rhaenyra and behind her many dragonseeds, some people with silver hair, some without. Rhaenyra will show and help the dragonseeds approach dragons. She will tell them that it's never been attempted before, and to claim a dragon you must also be prepared to die. The last episode ended with Jacaerys and his mother Rhaenyra realizing that they might be able to recruit more dragon riders by looking to their own family tree and history books. Targaryens have been marrying into other houses for a long time after all, and many Targaryens have been having bastards, so there might be enough Valyrian blood and enough dragon seeds scattered around the Seven Kingdoms to claim the riderless dragons that they have at Dragonstone. Rhaenyra will invite many people, mainly bastards who might or might not have Targaryen blood, to come and claim dragons, and she will greatly succeed. Rhaenyra Targaryen will gain many new dragons and dragon riders to her cause. In both the book and the show, Rhaenyra gains 4 new dragon riders and dragons: Seasmoke, Vermithor, Silverwing, and Sheepstealer. However, some of the dragon riders that will claim and mount these 4 dragons are going to be different in the show than they're in the book. In House of the Dragon, Hugh Hammer will bond with the dragon Vermithor, Ulf White with Silverwing, Addam of Hull with Seasmoke. This is the same as how it is in the book, but instead of Nettles bonding with Sheepstealer in the show, Rhaena will bond with the wild dragon in the later episodes of Season 2. It's unconfirmed if Hugh, Addam, and Ulf truly have Targaryen blood, or if they do, if that ancestry is what allows them to master the dragons. But whatever their origin, the 3 dragonseeds who will become the successful dragon riders for Rhaenyra will in later episodes have a feast with the queen, where they plan their next steps, which will be taking King's Landing with many dragons. So in episode 6, many people with Targaryen blood in their veins, Targaryen bastards or their descendants, will arrive to Rhaenyra, and the sowing of the seeds will begin taking place and will not finish until episode 7. There are currently 6 riderless dragons: Vermithor, Silverwing, Seasmoke, Sheepstealer, Grey Ghost, and Cannibal. Many of the people who attempt to claim dragons will die. In the book, one of those who dies is Sir Steffan Darklyn, who attempts to mount Seasmoke but is burned to death. Lord Gorman Massey is burned to death in his attempt to claim Vermithor. Silverden is supposedly a bastard son of King Maegor I Targaryen, is maimed when Sheepstealer tears one of his arms off and is devoured with his sons when the cannibal arrives. Grey Ghost hides from all, and the cannibal is outright avoided. We're not sure who will die in the show attempting to claim dragons, but we know many will die as we saw leaked scenes from the filming set in which many people were burned and set on fire. In the end, however, Vermithor and Silverwing will be claimed by Hugh and Ulf in episode 7. Addam of Hull claiming Seasmoke happens in the next episode 6 and outside of the sowing of the dragonseeds. In the next episode 6, Addam will claim Seasmoke by himself and outside Dragonstone at Driftmark, much to Rhaenyra's shock. When Rhaenyra hears that Seasmoke has a new rider, she will immediately mount her dragon Syrax and go looking for Seasmoke to confront both the dragon and the new dragon rider, as she doesn't know who Addam is and doesn't know who they support. Rhaenyra will confront Addam and Seasmoke at the beach with her dragon Syrax, as we can see in this picture. Luckily for Rhaenyra, the person who claims Seasmoke is a friend and not a foe, and will bend his knee to Rhaenyra as his own father, Corlys Velaryon, is Rhaenyra's Hand of the Queen. Generations of intermarriages which started even before Aegon's conquest, as Aegon the Conqueror's mother was a Velaryon. Between these 2 Valyrian houses, Targaryen and Velaryon, gave the Velaryons enough Targaryen blood in their veins to be able to claim dragons of their own. That's how Addam is able to claim a dragon. Addam's blood relation to Seasmoke's previous rider, Laenor, being his half-brother, may have been a factor in it accepting him. Seasmoke has been following Addam, and now we know why, because the dragon wants him as his new rider. Seasmoke is a pale silver-grey dragon who saw fighting at Stepstones in Season 1, when he was ridden by Corlys Velaryon's legitimate son and Rhaenyra's first husband, Laenor. Meanwhile, at Harrenhal, Daemon will continue to assemble an army which worries Criston Cole. Criston will say if Daemon prevails in the Riverlands, I no longer have the numbers to challenge him. Aemond and Criston will start planning their march on Harrenhal to confront Daemon, with Aemond saying, "My uncle is a challenge I welcome if he dares face me." As Prince Regent, Aemond will gather an army together with Sir Criston called the Hand of the King. Prince Aemond, Targaryen and Criston desire to retake Harrenhal from Daemon, who, as we will see in the upcoming episode, has gathered an army of rivermen to the Great Castle. In episode 6, we'll see Jason Lannister and Lord Lefford meet at the Golden Tooth with a huge assembled Lannister army of 1,000 knights and 7,000 archers and men-at-arms. Prince Aemond Targaryen will have Jason and his host descend on the Riverlands from the Red Fork. The formidable Westermen host will then later move east to join Aemond at Harrenhal, while Lord Jason Lannister marches toward the God's Eye with a host of Westermen. Criston will depart King's Landing with another 4,000 Greens and Aemond on Vhagar. They will march against Prince Daemon at Harrenhal, but this leaves King's Landing defenseless as all of the Green forces leave the capital, and on top of that, Aemond also leaves with Vhagar. This creates an opportunity that Rhaenyra's side uses to take King's Landing in episode 8, the final episode of season 2. Daemon will abandon Harrenhal when Aemond and Criston begin marching on the Great Castle with a host of Greens. Daemon flies Xerxes back to the capital and assists Rhaenyra and Syrax with the fall of King's Landing, along with Addam and Seasmoke, Hugh and Vermithor, Ulf and Silverwing, and likely Rhaena and Sheepstealer while the fleet of the Sea Snake arrives from the sea. But back to episode 6. Alicent will confront Aemond as she asks her son, "Have the indignities of your childhood not yet sufficiently been avenged?" Alicent knows Aemond tried to kill Aegon, and she implies he did it because Aegon used to bully him in their childhood. Aemond will later tell her, "Would you not have us prevail?" implying that with him in charge there's a better chance of winning this war. So Aemond tries to say that's why he did it, to which Alicent responds by shouting, "Not like this." At Dragonstone, Corlys arrives to attend to his new duties as Hand of the Queen, while in the Vale of Arryn, Rhaena sees Sheepstealer for the first time during her stay there, the same wild dragon she will claim in later episodes. Rhaena will claim Sheepstealer and replace Nettles on the show. I made an entire video about that, so if you want to know more, please watch that video. In episode 6, Aemond visits Aegon and seemingly threatens him, perhaps to keeping quiet about what happened at Rook's Rest. At Dragonstone, Rhaenyra tries wielding a sword and confronts one of her council members by saying, "It's my fault that you have forgotten to fear me." Seeing the Lannister army in episode 6 and having just heard in the last episode from Jacaerys that the Stark army of Cregan Stark is moving south, the show is setting a good old Lannisters against Stark's conflict and battles in the Riverlands. The Lannisters are marching into the Riverlands from the southwest while the Starks are marching into the Riverlands from the north, and have gained a fast route into it through the Twins as Jacaerys secured it for Cregan Stark and his 2,000 Winter Wolves. The Winter Wolves will pass through the Twins, where they meet Lord Forrest Frey and his wife Lady Sabitha Frey, telling them, "We have come to die for the Dragon Queen." Together with the Freys, they will march to the God's Eye, where they will be joined with other rivermen to oppose the Lannisters. In season 3, we'll see battles between the Starks and the Lannisters in the Riverlands. The Winter Wolves will beg the honor of leading the attack in the ensuing battle by the lakeshore, charging 5 times at the Lannister spearmen. 2/3 of the Northmen will be killed or wounded in the fighting, which will be a decisive victory for the Blacks. Later, they will fight the Hightowers outnumbered 10 to 1. In other words, we'll have some epic fights in season 3. But back to episode 6. We have the riots of the small folk happening in King's Landing, and Alicent and her daughter Helaena are almost caught in it before the Kingsguard gets them to safety. The riots are a combination of 3 things. First, the small folk are terrified after seeing the dragon's head, knowing that the dragons have started fighting each other and will at one point come and fight over their city. Second, the small folk of King's Landing are hungry. Corlys Velaryon's blockade of the city is cutting off their food supply. The third reason is Mysaria. Mysaria and Rhaenyra sent Elinda Massey on a secret mission. She's helped by Diana, a servant who was assaulted by Aegon, and the two will spread some messages through the city and also perhaps mess with the city's food supplies. They will take advantage of the fact that the people of King's Landing are upset. This will cause huge riots, and as I already said, Alicent and Helaena are almost caught in it but dragged to safety by their guards. That's all the leaked scenes we have for episode 6. And that's the full breakdown of the upcoming episode of House of the Dragon, supported by leaks and every other available piece of information we have. More dragons, more dragon riders, more war plans, more armies, and more chaos. Episode 6 is going to be a great episode, with key moments being Rhaenyra showing dragonseeds how to approach dragons, Addam claiming Seasmoke, Rhaena seeing Sheepstealer, Aemond and Cole planning an attack on Daemon, Alicent confronting Aemond and the riots, Let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comment section down below. For free, you can now listen to the entire audiobook Fire and Blood, on which House of the Dragon is based and which covers the entire Targaryen history, including current and future events of House of the Dragon, for free with a notable trial using our link in the description. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you in the next one.